Hey guys, if you like to party and the stock block is what you're trying to go fast on, we have a new brand for you here, Stock Block the World. Go to the link in the video and support us. It should eventually lead to t-shirts, hoodies, and other apparel. What is up, guys? It is Saturday. Last Sunday, we were at Shady Side, had a good outing. As always, though, I'm trying to find things to improve on. I think I found a lot in the tune. I think it was pretty rich on the big end. Found some other stuff, etc. So another thing that I've always chased is oil pressure. It's never got crazy low. Some people it might be considered crazy low, but to me, we never had bearing issues. So I was like, well, I've tried 10.2 9.5 pump, 10.2 9.6, then the 103.55. But I've always had the GM muscle car pan as well, and I could just never seem to get the pressure high as I want. Like I said, I don't have bearing issues, but I still think stuff like the lifters, would operate better if they had more high RPM pressure. So what I'm doing here is I got this pan from Moroso. This is the F-body road race pan. It's about the only thing that was in stock. So I hit up BTR and told them that I needed it, and they're like, sure, it costs this much. I'm like, let's do it. So this is what I'm doing. It's got more capacity than what we have, which, by the way, I have the GM muscle car pan, which is like I think a H3 pan, not designed for what we do, but been using it for years, like I said, but I've just always chased high RPM oil pressure, getting it where I want. So you can tell you get this pan, it's got some, you can see the lighting there. It's got baffles in it. It's got a little bit better design for keeping the oil in this area under hard acceleration, because obviously it's going to go straight to the back. And then you got this actual pickup tube itself. We see how big that opening is, opposed to a stock style tube. Small opening, even if you peel that back, it's still not quite as big as that. It looks like the actual tube itself is roughly the same size, but the biggest thing is this opening itself was pretty substantial. Even if you look at the actual thickness of it compared to that one, it's a little bit thicker. Not much, but a little bit. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to get this pan swapped. I may have to weld a couple nuts on the back of it for the engine diaper support. So it's no big deal, steel pan. It really didn't matter what it was, I can weld it. But so that's what's on the agenda. So I'm going to get the oil draining, and it's time to make a mess. Thought I would give you guys a better comparison of what we had in there. You can see that was the dump tube. It had been extended to reach the bottom of the pan a little better. But look at the opening difference here. It's pretty substantial. That one is the way the screen is from the factory. It's pretty tight against the edges. So definitely much larger pickup area itself. So curious to see how that helps on these 1060 foots. Pan itself looks good. There is some just ARP assembly lube in there from the heads, since it's not like this thing gets a ton of miles on it or has had the oil changed since last week. So everything looks good. No chunks of metal. There wasn't any metal on the actual drain plug itself. So I think we're looking healthy down here. Now I'm going to slide this other one back in there. Also, I forgot that you have to drill this out because when you have main studs, it's a little bit thicker. So, took it all back out. It looks like I'll be able to actually get it in there and then get the pan on opposed to what I had to do a minute ago. So it should be a little bit easier to put on. But anyways, gotta drill this out real quick. Here we go, oil pan is on. I've already fired it up to verify no leaks. As you can tell, I had to get a little coupler there for the, is a 1/4 inch MPT to 1/8 inch MPT for the turbo oil feed. PF48 filter, that's what fits it. I had got a 46 at first, and I was wrong because I, thought maybe it'd been an F-body pan, use an F-body filter. But anyways, so it's on there. They call for 7 quarts. It's still run 8. That's how we always run turbo stuff. And this one, at least, is a bit more better equipped for the extra capacity. As you saw, had to remove the windage tray as well. It wouldn't seat up in there with it. But so all the old stuff's out. Definitely curious to see how this helps with the hard acceleration oil pressure. Left the oil pressure sensor or heater in the pan because I just never really use it. So I'll if I feel like I need to add it later, I will. So basically I just need to get the diaper on there. Like I said, I may have to put 2 nuts on there to actually thread so the diaper support itself in the rear. And I forgot, I probably need to find a way to add another little bit of weight to this car because we got to be 2450 next week for Carolina No Time. So I'll devise something on that as well. So I had to run out and get some fuel. Picked up some more M1. If you're around town or whatever, around our area, I highly suggest hitting up Barrett Shook Motorsports. Good small business, good dudes. So always, nice to support people like that. Just they're local, so they're easy to work with. They're able to go there on a Saturday, which is convenient. Just want to say those guys. And I don't get any kind of special discount or anything either. I just like helping support other businesses, local ones especially. But anyways, now I got to unload this thing. I'm sure you've been in a situation before. I had some ramps before, and I think I threw them away because they were so sketchy. I didn't want to trust using them, or I threw them in the back of the shop. I don't really know. But now I just got to unload this thing by myself. So I've done it before. It's not a big deal. It just requires being a little crafty. So it continues here. Changing the transmission fluid, just a pan, not going to drop the filter or anything. I noticed the other day when I was letting it warm up, I could smell it a little bit, so might as well go ahead and address it now. And it's roughly 6 quarts, so I will put 6 new quarts in there, and we'll be good to go. I figure it's easier to take care of things before they become an issue. This cheap fluid isn't designed, I'm sure, for the temperatures that it sees in this thing, especially when we don't have a lot of turnaround time. And I think, honestly, This is the same fluid that was in the transmission back in Georgia. I think I just drained it and kept it while I changed the front pump seal. So yeah, pretty sure. Yeah, I know for sure I reused it. So got new engine oil, got new transmission fluid. It stinks, I can smell it. The rear end fluid should be good. After this next outing, I'll probably drop the cover again to check the rear end gear for cracks and stuff. Just I'm hoping that the fact the car is not super heavy helps the gear stay alive. But you know, when you get to the 1.0 range on these 8.8s, they can potentially be a wearable item. I just hope it's nothing too crazy, because it's a pain, and you know, and it costs money like everything else. I do still need to put a stud right here. I noticed the other day, load the carpet at the Shady Side, that little stud had broken. Basically, John had just drilled a hole and tapped it and put a little screw in there, and it was bent for a minute, so it finally gave up. You know, it's not like I use front data for that much, the front shock that is, but it's good to have because I am curious about things. And if you get out there and you wheelie or whatever, and I know I got the ride height sensor, but if I can kind of compare how things are going, it's just, you know, more data, more better. It's the way I look at it. All in all, a relatively simple Saturday compared to the previous one. So I'm gonna get some fluid in this thing, and I guess I want to call it a day. What is up, guys? It is Tuesday night. We got Carolina No Time this Saturday. That means we got to add a little bit of weight. Sammy brought by some weights he had earlier. This is roughly 21.5 pounds, 21 pounds, or 22. Same for that one. And this one's like 11 pounds. I wrote it on there. Yeah. So we're going to get this thing on the scales, get everything on it, and just kind of the plan. We're going to start with it in the rear because we think that'll be more ideal because we're not trying to make this thing more nose heavy. If it tries to flip over or do something stupid, which I don't think is likely, then we'll go from there with moving it around. But so that's what we got to do now. So let me get started. So the car with me in it, on these scales, I'll explain that more in a second, was like 24, 28. Now I'm not usually wearing my work boots ever, so they're probably 3 to 5 pounds. You say 24, 25 was race weight at Shady Side, and the fuel cell is a little low too, which is kind of about where it's at after a pass. So we went to, you know, the 31 of the week. It was 24, 25. We need to be 24.50 for this Saturday. So we're going to put about 30, should be roughly 33 pounds in the rear, and that should have us good. Now, the reason I mention on these scales is a lot of times you'll see differences in tracks. You know, we've weighed the car here, of course, and then been to Maryland, Georgia, Orlando, a bunch of tracks, and there's always a variance. You know, I think Georgia, every time we've been there, has been 10 to 20, I'll say 20 pounds heavy. But and then I think I saw the same thing at Maryland. You know, compared to these scales, but you know, hard to say these scales are more accurate than their scales. But you know, I really don't care as long as I weigh enough. So, anyways, let's get to hanging some weight. So you guys can see we already got 50 pounds back here. Car works really good, and it took about 2% off the nose doing that, so it kind of just left it alone. So now we're hanging this weight. Since the passenger side is the lighter side, we're hanging it here to like basically one of the furthest points back we can, and trying to move some weight around some. So we're going to get these pieces in there, and then we will get the weight hung and check the scales out. Alright guys, see we got the weight hanging there. I figure it's probably the best spot to put it, you know, far back as possible to the passenger side. We'll throw it on the scale in a minute and see how much this helps as far as the nose bias and of course the actual side to side as well, which we don't really worry too much about that like some people do, just because the car seems to always work, and we've had other cars that have been way off on one side and still work good. So we'll just see what the scale says. Let's check it out, guys. Keep in mind, once again, wearing my work boots, but you know, we added 33 pounds and it's showing up on the scale here. And you can see the John would look at the picture what the side-to-side bias was before, but it kind of gives you an idea of what we'll be working with.
It was 533 and 487.
533 and 487. Okay, so it looks like we're probably a similar. And so it picked up like 10 pounds maybe, as far as it's like off 33 pounds now instead of off 40 something.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the front? Any difference there? It's just
707, 699.
So it actually made it lighter somehow on the right front.
Made it heavier on the right, on the driver's front.
Yeah.
How?
Maybe it's that tea I drank in between. And you see as well our nose bias. It's about 57% now. It was 58. So yeah, we haven't really didn't have issues with the car working last week. Obviously, we'll see how things go this week. I want to see different tracks and similar 60 foots to feel good about it. But we got some weight in there, and you know, with those, if we need to, if their scale's a bit heavy, we got shorter bolts we can put into the mount to take weight off if we feel we need to. But if it works, probably won't, as long as it doesn't give us any issues. Hey guys, we are here at Piedmont Dragway for the first Carolina No Time event of the year. I guess a local one. They have one at Ducks Race too. Getting the car set up. John was just airing the rear shocks up, canister style. You see it too. Car just got interchange plugs, warming it up and everything, but otherwise it should be good to go. Bradley is here with us. He was down at Lights Out as well, local car out of tune. It's a pretty awesome setup. Excuse me. Thing's pretty sweet. Definitely the coolest radial car here. But yeah, so the thing's pretty bad. He built it all himself too. But anyways, you know, we're going to go through tech or whatever, which I don't think is much, and then you know, we'll. I think the track goes hot at 12, but still a little chilly, so I don't know if it will go hot right at 12. I might push it back a little bit. Today, since they had to move things around because of weather, it's just the anything goes shootout on 28s. So possibly a bit stiffer competition than usual. Then we run a small block boost, but it doesn't matter. You know, you're gonna go out there and try to go fast. So the air's good. It's just a matter of the track being there. But let me finish getting some stuff done on this thing. Alright guys, we have made, that was a terrible idea. we have made 2 passes. First one spun, second one was really good because I softened it up a whole lot in the front, and really surprised what it ran. Trying to get the glare out here. Round 1's coming up. We've got a guy named Tony Hill. I don't necessarily know who he is. That doesn't mean anything, but he came up to me and said that, he had nothing for me. But this is racing, so anything can happen. I took the tune we just had. I kind of built off it. So it should be a similar front half, and hopefully by the second half, it should be a monster. So we're going to see what it does. Just got to finish a few more things, turn this car around, and we'll be up there for round 1. Update, so our guy didn't show up for round 1. He said that I had to buy it. I thought he was just saying that, he didn't have a chance, but I guess he just didn't want to, try, which is fine. I appreciate the buy. Good hit. The new oil pan, pressure's still dropping, but I actually added another quart. We'll see if that helps. Actually 4.1 to the run, I hit the 4.16 hit fuel pressure cutoff, oil pressure cutoff, sorry. So, the engine's still good, still healthy, but add another quart and we'll see if it helps to keep the pressure up top. And I also disabled the cutoff because nobody wants to lose like that. We have Derek Reynolds next. If you're watching any of our videos, like our old stuff, you'll know he's a local. We used to run a lot down at Shady Side. He's a very fast car, saw it Ford, big turbo deal. So if you haven't watched our old videos, feel free to go through and watch every single one of them every minute. Would be appreciated. But you'll see his car in there a lot, especially when we did the 704 stuff. Anyways, that's where we're at. We're getting ready to go back up there. Pretty much done turning the car around. Just trying to get a little bit more heat out of the engine, and we'll be ready to go for round 2.
Lost a tire near lane. White Mustang with a killer run far lane. White Mustang moving on. White Mustang moving on. crap out of them. White Mustang with a tree job.
I'm the back, so really good guy.
How'd she feel? It looked good.
We're good on this side.
All moving.
Yep.
So I don't think I updated you guys after the second round of the day. You know, I had mentioned I had Derek Reynolds. We went there against him, and he knocked the tires off, you know, right before the 60, I believe. You know, we made another clean hit. Next round, we had Jason Tyson. We ran him before. He runs a lot of the small block boost stuff, and he usually wins. He's won a lot. It's a bad car. Small block Ford 118 deal. You know, this year's small block boost has a weight limit and a smaller turbo, but this race on Saturday was come to win, so it's anything on 28s. Went there against him, and he doesn't always try on the tree. Because I think he knows he's fast enough to run most people down. And, you know, I've had him run past me before, back when the car was a couple tenths slower. But, you know, I was on the light again, had another good reaction, and apparently he, you know, I never saw him, which I was looking for him kind of out of my periffs, because, once again, I've had him drive around me before. And then, you know, come to find out, he actually broke the transmission. So that was why I did not see him. So ended up next round. You know, we were. I was like, you know, there was 3 cars left. I was like, so hopefully we get a bite of the finals, cause you know we're not getting a huge turnaround time, and you know cooling the transmission and stuff down is pretty fast, but it still takes a while to get some heat out of the engine and everything. The way we're doing stuff, since we don't use water. Well, we ended up getting a bite of the finals. So we're going ahead and getting the car ready, you know, priming the fuel pump. And we crank it up, and I hear a little rattle. I'm like, oh no. But it goes away pretty fast. I'm like, well, I think I heard it do that earlier too. So, you know, the motor was still kind of warm, so I was like, maybe it's just the thin oil. Since, you know, these aluminum blocks definitely they definitely drop some pressure when they get warm, which is understandable because it's aluminum, and also, you know, it's probably trying to twist in half. So end up getting about the finals. We drag it up there, and I crank it up to just break the beams, and I can hear it kind of just rattling a little bit. I was like, oh man. So break the beams, turn it off, pull it back, come back, pull the valve covers off, hoping we find a rocker or something like that. Unfortunately, we did not have that kind of luck. Ended up, I was like, you know what, it's 500 to win or 1,000 to get, I'm sorry, 1,000 to win or 500 for runner-up. I was like, well, if we go up there and try, I mean, I don't even know if I make it through the burnout box, but 1,000 is definitely not going to cover whatever it's going to mess up most likely. But if we stop now, you know, the 500 could get us either prevent, you know, stopping now could prevent a lot more damage, and the money could actually potentially cover what could be hurt, which I still haven't got to the part yet. You know, that'll be in the next video, but I'm hoping that just some low pressure, I can slide some bearings in there. But that was where we ended up at. We ended up getting runner-up. Wasn't going to risk hurting it really bad. After we checked the valve covers, cranked it up again, I could still hear a little rock. I was like, all right, or rattle. I was like, all right, let's just put it back in the trailer. But all in all, I'm still happy. The car ran fast all day. The track was marginal, so the 60 foot was off. It was a high, it was a high 1.0 range, and it was the car. The car did good though. We were in that class. We were definitely outgunned in probably every aspect, minus Bradley's car I showed you earlier, the Volkswagen. So definitely happy to have made it as far as we did. Now I'm gonna get the this car apart. I'm just gonna drop the pan and stuff, and we'll see what we find in the next video.